What is going on, football fans? It's your boy DT back with another prospect film review as we continue grinding through the 2026 quarterback class. If you have not already checked out the other 8 quarterbacks on my channel, I highly encourage you to do so. Please hit a like and a subscribe on your way in. That certainly helps me a ton. We are on the road to 2,000 subs. I greatly appreciate everybody's support. Like I said, today is our 9th quarterback that we're going to talk about on the channel. My goal is to get to 10 by Thanksgiving, and seeing that today's date is 2.5 weeks away from Thanksgiving, I think I'm going to get there. Ty Simpson is the final watch. So no, today's episode is not about Ty Simpson, but you already know that if you saw the title of this. Today we are going to discuss Duke Blue Devil Darian Mensah. This prospect is very intriguing. He is still only 20 years old, so you can see there is a lot of room for growth, but already a ton of flashes that are just undeniable on his tape. He is a transfer from Tulane, a 2-year starter, where last year he finished at Tulane with 2,723 yards, 22 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. Transfers to Duke. This is now his 2nd year as a starter, and this season he currently has 71 more passing yards, so 2,794, 2 more touchdowns at 24, which leads the ACC, and 2 less touchdowns with 4. So an incredible touchdown to interception ratio of 24-4, and he's doing this in 4 less games. So he's played 13 last year for Tulane. He's only done this in 9 games for the Blue Devils. So he's on pace and has already smashed a ton of his best, stats that he put out so far in his career. Obviously only his 2nd year starting, like I've mentioned, but it's not a guarantee that Mensah will declare for the 2026 draft. He still has eligibility, much like a lot of these passers. However, last week I had our guy Dom C on the channel to talk about his soft rankings of his top 5 quarterbacks for the class, and he had Darian Mensah as his number 2 quarterback, and Mensah was not on my radar at all. So my ears perked up. I was really excited. He told me that I was going to like what I saw on film from Mensah, so I took Dom at his word. I trust his evaluations, and I gave Mensah a look. Like I said, 20 years old, a ton of room for growth, but undeniable flashes that I think can translate to Sunday ball. So the interview with Dom will be linked at the end of this video, but for now, let's dive right into the tape. As you know, I have to fight YouTube to not get my videos blocked. So there will be some light background music. I'm trying my best to not get hit with copyright infringements all over the place. And I will also be drawing as much as I can on these plays to, again, try to combat YouTube's. Why they do this, I'm not sure, but they make it very hard to make these breakdowns for you guys. So with all that being said, let's get right into the tape for Mensah. First play, we have an anticipatory comeback to the bottom of the screen. You're going to be watching the guy who's standing right above the word Brooks Field. They're going to motion what looks like the tight end in 2x2. Looks to the left, scrambles out right. Anticipatory throw to the bottom of the field. We'll rewind it. So what we're going to get is a motion from the tight end, or what appears to look like a tight end. He's going to motion in, attached to the line of scrimmage. He's going to come out on like a little delay, get into the flat. This is where we're looking here on this deep comeback. And on the backside, you're going to see 7-yard in and a 5-yard short hitch. Tight end comes in motion. Snap. Mensah's looking at the top of the screen. He probably has the hitch, knowing that the corner is blitzing. Chooses not to, for whatever reason. Turns to his right. You see the tight end delaying into the flat, and you see the comeback route to the bottom of the screen. Trying to time it up exactly where, right here, he pats the ball and looks to throw. And you can see the DB, or the wide receiver, is not out of his break here. So we love the anticipation from Mensah. Throwing it as he gets out of his break. A little bit of an off-platform throw, rolling to his right, but he does a good job of getting his foot into the ground. Right on the sideline for the wide receiver to catch it, maintain possession. Great first down pickup. We'll see it from the back angle. You can't see the anticipation on it, but you'll see his footwork. Good job getting out of the pocket. Stays square, and I think that's really important when a quarterback is going to scramble out of the pocket. Just how upright and sturdy he is. His helmet isn't over his toes too much. Shoulders are in line with his feet here. He's doing a good job of staying balanced. Has to obviously throw on a wonky platform, but he gets that right foot in the ground and drives through with that left foot swinging in the air. Really good arm strength to make this type of throw. Good job by Mensah. Next play we have is a miss up to the top of the screen. Looks like a bit of a hitch route or maybe even a comeback route because he turns outside. But we're looking at the top of the screen. They have a 3-by-1 with the tight end attached to the left. Again, rolling out to his right. Kind of looks a little bit like a flood concept. Perhaps it's not, but you have an overload to the right-hand side. So you have your short player in the number 3 spot. You have him in the short. You have this guy, looks like he's doing a little bit of something like this in the intermediate. And then you have this guy who sits in this little hole here, but it looks like he could be, running a vertical route, and just based on the defensive coverage, he stops his route a little bit short. Either way, flood concept to the right. Mensah immediately rolls out. They do a good job of protecting it up. He could take the short, but it looks like that corner's sitting, right? It looks like this could be a version of cover 2 zone, right? You have your 5 underneath defenders, including your 2, kind of cloud corners here. They call them cloud corners because they're just kind of sitting at 5 to 7 yards. And then you have your 2 over top safeties. So it looks like the number 1 to the top of the screen, who's going to eventually get this pass right here, it looks like he just kind of does a good job of sitting in that soft spot because perhaps the safety could have gotten over. If he threw this ball to the front pylon, perhaps that safety can make that ground up. That's a lot less ground than this receiver type has to cover. So Mensah does a good job again. A little bit of a wonky platform, but it looks very similar to last time. Shoulders above his toes, and you'll see it in the back angle. Good job. Good arm strength. Just unfortunate miss. The receiver was able to catch it, but he couldn't keep his feet in bounds. We'll see it again. Shoulders over toes. I really like this about Mensah. He really stays square even when he's throwing on the run. And they have him do these bootlegs and rollout concepts a lot. So I like that he's able to keep his foot in the ground and just use all that, torque of his right shoulder and his left foot. Gets it to the wide receiver, but he really needed to put that in a 3-yard closer range for that wide receiver to not have to make such an elaborate catch on it. Couldn't keep his feet in bounds. Small miss, but still a miss by Mensah. I brought that up just to show you this play where he does hit that same, similar concept. They're going to have 3 to the top of the screen, 3 guys, short, intermediate, and deep. And this time he hits the deep route. So we'll play it. Fullback in the flat, the out route, and the deep route, which he then turns upfield and makes a huge gain. So again, we have the short from the tight end who comes across, makes his way out in the flat, intermediate, and then we have the deep where it looks like he could sit. Maybe it's a vertical, but he sits and he gets the pass from Mensah. Does a good job of identifying the same thing that he missed on before. Again, play action immediately rolls out to his right. So he's throwing, again, off platform, making good throws. But you see they're in a possible too high if this safety's rolling down. It's kind of hard to tell the coverage type if I'm being honest. But it looks like too high at this point. And he sits in this hole right here between this guy at the 30 and this guy at the 44. Sits in that soft spot in the coverage. Mensah does a good job of getting it out to him. He makes a guy miss. And he's able to get about 30 to 45 yards after the catch. So good job by Mensah making up for a mistake that he made earlier. Immediately boots out right. Again, that platform that he's throwing off of every time. They have him rolling out to his right, rolling out to his left a lot. And I think he does a good job of it. I promise there will be throws from a clean pocket with a sturdy base soon. But for now, you see him hit that shot. Even the intermediate guy, he thought it might have been for him. Probably lucky he couldn't get his hand on it, but a good job by Mensah. And then the wide receiver does the rest, gaining about 40 yards after the catch. So good job by Mensah after a mistake on the same concept, coming back and making a play. Here, this is one of Mensah's red flags, I guess, for me. I'm not a huge advocate of harping on red flags. This one in particular to me is a bit, scary if I'm thinking about it from an NFL lens, because it's more so coming down to awareness in the pocket when you're breaking it. Now, in Mensah's defense, he doesn't break the pocket and look to run as a runner a lot. But in 2 cases in the 2 games that I watched, this similar thing happened. So he's going to scramble and he's going to get hit by a defender that already ran his pass rush arc and got behind him. And he's just not going to have any awareness that the defender's there, and he's going to fumble. Here they are in the red zone. Good pocket. He steps up, but the guy that beat the left tackle just turns back downfield and gets after Mensah. He fumbles it. Crucial red zone fumble in a tight game. You'll see him changing the play. I do like that about him. When you're able to have that type of command of an offense at just 20 years old, I think that's a really good sign. So right here, he doesn't see anybody open. Although he probably could wait and see number 2 flash open. Again, asking him to do a lot, just sitting here with the clicker. He gets out of the pocket through the B gap, but number 17 rolls. You see him do the spin move on the left tackle right here. So the left tackle does a good job of getting him wide, opening up a huge lane if Mensah needed to run. As you can see, they have it blocked up really well. But in coordination with Mensah stepping up in the pocket, that guy rolls off the left tackle. Not much the left tackle can really do here, but this is on Mensah to not realize, okay, I got to feel this guy behind me and not take that type of sack in a critical situation in the red zone. So not a great play from Mensah there. And if it didn't happen more than once, I wouldn't have brought it up, but it happens twice on 2 games that I watched. So definitely needed to put it in there. Again, wanting to paint a full picture, not just showing you everything that the guy does well, but also some of his red flags. We'll just call them red flags. 3-by-1. Again, they're in the low red zone. Looking at the top of the screen. Just a good man beater. The guy crosses face against his DB. You got 2 kind of underneath routes from the number 2 and the number 3 in this little bunch. They're going to clear out this way. And then the number 1 to the top of the screen. Beat him with the slant. Mensah does a great job identifying man coverage. Sees that he has good leverage right here. Number 1 is kind of pushing out, right? And the DB looks like he has inside leverage. But boom, right here, the DB widens. And number 1, I believe, the wide receiver type, he puts his left foot in the ground. Does a great job of crossing face. This is not a wide receiver breakdown, but I do love this type of stuff. Gains Great separation from the DB as Mensah sees him come open, looks to throw. Wide open at the time of the catch. Really easy touchdown. Love the awareness of the wide receiver. Love the diagnosis of the play. Pre and post snap by Mensah. Here he is again commanding the huddle, or commanding the offense. They got it blocked up really well. And boom, easy throw, touchdown. So a lot to like so far through the Mensah game and a half or 2 games that I watched. Game and a half that we're watching right now. Next play here, interception on a wonky base, scrambling left. Again, you know the theme by now. He's rolling out of the pocket. He's throwing on the run. Doesn't have a good, sturdy base a ton of times when he throws. Not his fault. It's the offense. Rolls out. Gets him on the run. Underthrows the deep shot down the left sideline. And it gets picked by the DB. So it looks like we have a bit of a switch release. I guess it'd be like a post wheel as my drawing goes off the screen, but you get the point. It's a bit of a post wheel from the bottom side of the screen, which is where Mensah is looking to throw. He's going to boot out all the way out and throw again on the run, this time to his left. Motion the number 1 to a 3-by-1 set. Again, you get similar concept. You have a short receiver in the flat. You have your intermediate receiver, and then you have your deep receiver. Good throw on the run. Doesn't even look like his guy is open. Move this out of the way for this play. Doesn't even look like his guy is technically open. So a bit of a tough throw to make regardless. Defender even slips a little bit, and he just underthrows it. DB makes a great play. You'll see it from the back angle. Here we go. So they motion to 3-by-1. Play action. Boots. Just underthrows it. A touch. I love this. His ability to throw on the run. I mean, it's just a testament to his arm strength, because when you can make throws this far, I get it. It was underthrown, so I can't. I'm kind of contradicting myself here, but the fact that he can do these types of things on the run and make these types of throws, it's just a testament to his arm strength, in my opinion. Not so much arm talent. Obviously, you want to see him layering throws to talk about arm talent, but it's still a ridiculously far throw when you have 3 toes in the ground. So underthrows it a little bit, gets picked by the DB. Another turnover for Mensah. Here it is again, the strip sack. We'll play it through. Corner blitz. Just gets decked. Loses the ball. His 3rd turnover of the game. You'll see it from the back angle. The corner's going to come off the right. Number 20, the running back's going to pick him up. They have everything else blocked up really well, right? Double team to the left, double team with the right guard in the center. Right tackle's one-on-one, but he's doing a damn good job. And the running back has to pick up the extra blitzer, this time coming from a DB spot. Running back does a good job of getting him up the arc. Mensah feels the need to escape the pocket and just doesn't feel that guy. And gets walloped, fumbles the ball. We'll go back and look from this first angle. When Mensah's looking to throw, is there a guy? See, if you ask me with the clicker, maybe he can make this throw. Maybe he can make this throw, potentially. Who knows? I'm not going to, kill him for not making those throws, but I'm also not going to, praise him when the end result is this and the DB jars the ball loose and your guy can't fall on it. So, bit of a mixed bag so far with Mensah against Illinois. Just not a fan of that type of stuff out of the quarterback. You got to be able to feel the guy behind you when you step up in the pocket. Perhaps it's nitpicky for some, but a little bit of an issue for me. All right, here we go. Mensah, anticipatory throw over the middle on 4th and 3. So a gotta-have-it situation. 3-by-1, bunch to the top of the screen. Looks like he's going to check to the second play. I should note that this now is against Clemson. We got through the Duke versus Illinois tape. This is now Duke versus Clemson. Clemson's going to show pressure, brings 5. Picked up nicely. Mensah on a great hitch route. So they're going to be targeting the bottom of the screen. 18 is just running a little bit of a hitch. Find that soft spot in the zone and catch it. Soft spot in the defense, I should say, not soft spot in the zone. Clemson showing pressure. They look like they got 6 blitzing. 1 peels out. The D end or the end man of line of scrimmage, he peels out. So they got 6 in to protect with the back versus 5 blitzers. Again, offensive line does a great job. Running back does a great job. This defensive end is just, or end man of line of scrimmage is just completely lost. Maybe, by the book on the playbook, that's what it shows. But when you have a 3-by-1 and the back stays in to protect and your job is to peel out like that, I don't know, maybe you go pseudo rogue and just attach on to the eligible to this side, right? Like, unless a crosser is coming across the field, which it doesn't look like, right? You have 2 outbreaking routes over here, and like this guy looks like he's just kind of stopping. I feel like this end man of line of scrimmage guy really just needs to attach to the eligible to his side. Again, maybe I'm nitpicking, maybe I'm completely wrong about how to coach defense, and that's completely fine. It's just when I see a defensive lineman type or an edge type standing there in zone coverage, covering grass, I don't really understand it. Regardless, Mensah, sturdy base in the pocket with a guy with a hand in his face. Anticipatory throw to the hitch route. You'll see it right here. He's loading up to throw, and the DB is not out of his break. He's already, separated. Ball's out of his hand, and the wide receiver's got his hand on the ground making his turn. DB really in his hip pocket. Great coverage by the DB. But he puts it on his lead shoulder, I guess, right? The receiver's left shoulder when he turns around. So that allows him to turn away from where the defender is, and you'll see it better from the back angle. And I still agree think that if the end man of line of scrimmage was there, this is a turnover on downs. Here we go. He's already separating to throw. I know the Skycam cable's in the way. Ball's already on the way to him. Puts it a little bit away from him where the defender can't get it. You see his arm reaching in there. Just, what is this guy doing? It's amazing to me, the stuff you see on film. And again, maybe he's just doing it by the book. But if he was attached or closer to this play, he could have potentially stopped it from happening. Either way, great throw by Mensah. Great catch by the wide receiver as well. Here we go. Touchdown by Mensah. We've shown 3 turnovers. I don't think we've showed any touchdowns yet. Looking at the slot fade up to the top. Dropped it in the bucket. I love this throw for Mensah. So they got a stack to the left. They're going to motion him out. He's going to run a post. Then you're going to get the fade in behind it. He's going to target the fade. crosses the face of the DB. Mensah's got the back of his drop. He's separating to throw already. This ball ends up right here. This is a great throw by Mensah. To throw it when the receiver is 15 yards away from the target location. I think that's really special stuff from Mensah. Teammates are loving it. O-line was loving it. We'll see it from the back angle. Duke's O-line, man, they do a great job of blocking it up. Yeah, to think that the wide receiver's at the 15-yard line here and to find that ball perfectly, again, shoulder away from the defender. If you put that on the left shoulder, perhaps that DB's right arm gets in the way. Just little things of that. Game of inches. It's a Saturday catch, not a Sunday catch by the wide receiver, but doesn't matter. This is college. That's a touchdown. Great play by Mensah. One-on-one missed back shoulder. I believe this is to the top of the screen. We'll play it through. Motions the tight end in, 3-by-1. Looking at the top. Just a miss on the boundary. You'll see a motion the tight end down. 1, 2, 3. Does a great job from a drop back and mechanics perspective. I like this. He's working, decently straight back. Then at the very, back end of his drop, he gets that right foot in the ground. He starts one jump a little to his left or hitch to his left. Little toesy on the throw. But again, his arm strength tells you that he really doesn't need a great base to throw it. But I do like this little left foot kick out right there, that wide stance, aiming where he needs to go. Just a little bit short of the wide receiver, right? Misses it by about a yard or two. But again, he's trying to put it on the back shoulder. I love the footwork, the fundamentals, the things of that from Mensah, but there is just a little bit to clean up accuracy-wise and awareness-wise, as you're seeing so far. Last 3 clips here. We got a post route for a touchdown. 3-by-1, they're going to motion to a 2-by-2. Clemson shows pressure. They bring 5. Great recognition by Mensah to hit the post for a touchdown. So they motion over this receiver. We're looking at the top of the screen. Late, Clemson looks like they're going to bring these 4 and this rusher off the edge. And the concept to the top of the screen is that switch release, post wheel. This time he's going to target the post. Last time he got the wheel. You understand the drawing? Clemson brings 5. They have another end man line of scrimmage, drop out. This time he's actually covering somebody. Mensah gets to the back of his drop. He sees that this defender will pull it back just a hair right here. Mensah's keying in on this defender right here on the 15-yard line. He's noticing that he's pushing wider, right? So he knows that if this wide receiver crosses face, he's not going to have any help over the top, right? This guy's moving down this way to the number 2. This guy's keeping his eyes this way on this side of the field. So Mensah realizes that if this second-level defender gets wider, right? He's widening his stance. He's opening his hips. He's still looking back at him, but boom, right here. The DB turns his head, or the linebacker type, we should say, turns his head for a split second. Now he's back looking at Mensah, but this guy's back behind him. He has no idea. He's still going to try to cover the the tight end type on the wheel route. Mensah identifies, throws a great touchdown. This was a tight game throughout. High scoring as well. Both teams, I believe, were in the 40s. Great job by Mensah. Just a perfect spiral right down the hashes. I like this a lot. So they're going to have 6 in to protect again against Clemson's 5. You see the linebacker type walking up into the B gap right here. And you're going to see the other, I guess that's a DB type coming off the D gap. Running back works all the way from the left side to pick up that DB type, but it doesn't matter. Again, Mensah, great drop back straight. Boom, gets to the back of his drop and then hitches right here. And then this little kick with his left foot, putting his toes where they need to go, driving the ball again. You know, a little toesy, that's fine. If he kept his foot planted, obviously it's just going to come out a little bit harder. But he rips this right down the hash marks. Great placement, great lead. Obviously, he could throw it right where the wide receiver is, but gives him plenty of space to lead with no safety help. Walks into the end zone. Great play by Mensah. Here we have Mensah throwing a slant a little bit high and behind. Nearly intercepted if the DB could catch it. Looking at the top of the screen. 2x2, motion the tight end down, play action, maybe possibly RPO-ish glance, RPO glance, and high and behind, fortunately not intercepted. So it looks like he's just going to run the RPO with the glance behind it. Again, they bring a DB type. Looks like maybe their slot corner who's standing on the closer hash, covering the number 2. He's going to come on a blitz. They got 5-man walked up at the line of scrimmage again. They peel out that end man line of scrimmage. Clemson apparently loves to do this. Mensah, good job of snapping right into his drop back, right foot in the ground. Just a little bit behind, high. DB can't come up with it, fortunately, for the Duke offense. You'll see it from the front angle. Brings the tight end in. RPO or the play fake. Immediately snaps. You can't see his footwork here, but he's got the DB type running free on him. Just a little bit high and behind. Looks like perhaps the wide receiver gets a hand on it. It's hard to tell. The film isn't, crystal clear. It looks like he changes the trajectory of that ball slightly, and that's probably why the DB can't catch it. Yeah, definitely came off the wide receiver's hands, but high and behind, probably a blessing in disguise that it hit the wide receiver's hands. So not a great throw for Mensah, but we are going to end this film review on a very positive. A drop in the bucket, touchdown. We'll play it through. Tight end motions down. Play fake, back of his drop. Heave, right down the middle. Perfect ball placement. Explosive touchdown. 43 yards. So we're looking at the number 2 to the bottom. Looks like he's just running some kind of like seam route or over type route. Really not much else to it. Mensah does a great job getting to the back of his drop, hitching, stepping up, heaving it, back of his drop. Again, great protection by the Duke offensive line. Looks like a version of maybe Tampa 2, just based on the way that this defender has clung on to the vertical concept from the number 2. That to me is just a bit of an indicator of Tampa 2. And then you still have your 4 underneath defenders with your 2 high safeties or 2 high DB types. Mensah loads up to throw here. So he's basically throwing it left foot on the 50, and the receiver is at the 25-yard line. and where he catches it is the 2-yard line. So again, just a great job of leading his receivers to the open areas. And I know that sounds so trivial or, basic as a quarterback, but it's little things like this from a 20-year-old quarterback that are signs of sustainable growth and development. This is just a seed right over the DB's head. He has absolutely no chance of coming down with this ball. We'll play it one more time from both angles, but this is the type of stuff you love to see. Put your foot in the ground, step up, launch it. 48 yards in the air where your guy can get it. DB has absolutely no chance. A lot to like about this guy. And as you see it come down one more time, great footwork, great arm angles on release. He's not the type of quarterback who always needs to throw on a 3-quarter, baseball platform type of thing. He can do it. Doesn't always need to do it, but a lot of throwing on the run, a lot of concepts where everybody's flooding to one side, half field reads. But again, a lot to like about this guy. And ultimately, I think he will go back to school, and that's fine, right? He turns 21 at the end of January. So even if he comes out into the 2027 draft class, he's barely going to be 22 years old by the time he's drafted. And he won't be 23 until the very, very end of his rookie season. So a ton of upside from that perspective with Mensah. You obviously see the arm strength, the arm talent has flashed here and there for him. So all in all, I'm a pretty big fan of Darian Mensah. Do I have him as my number 2 quarterback along with our guy Dom C? Probably not. I have a way too early quarterback ranking coming out probably this time next week, so you can stay tuned for that. But there is a lot to like about Darian Mensah, and you'll see where he stacks up against all the other quarterbacks that I've watched. I'm not going to rank anybody that I have not watched with enough depth to speak intelligently about. That's not how I operate. So if there is a quarterback that you still want me to watch, please drop it in the comments below. I certainly will appreciate all the feedback and all the names given. I will eventually be pivoting post-Thanksgiving to non-quarterback positions, starting with wide receiver. So if you want to throw some wide receiver names down in the comments below, I would certainly appreciate that as well. So we're just getting the train rolling here. We're up to 9 quarterbacks. We're going to get to 10 with Ty Simpson before Thanksgiving. I really appreciate everybody for tuning in and checking out all these breakdowns. I'm fairly new to the breakdown space and using the all 22, but as a person who is so infatuated with the draft, I love just sharing my insights and thoughts about players, because in 3 years we'll find out if we're right or wrong anyway. So it's just fun to listen to all the different takes about these guys. So just my thoughts on Darian Mensah, quarterback from Duke. Please hit the like button, subscribe if you are new. DT signing out. Let's go.